Ciao e benvenuti al Tavolo Italiano. Today we're talking about conjugating irregular ARE Italian verbs, stare, fare, dare, and andare in the present tense. First of all, let's assume that you already understand subject pronouns, the basic principles of conjugation in Italian, verb conjugation. If you don't understand these, you may want to first watch the video that explains conjugating verbs and Italian subject pronouns. Secondly, this lesson only covers the conjugation of these four Italian irregular ARE verbs in the present tense. Unlike the regular Italian ARE verbs, there is no set conjugation rule. There are some patterns that you will find, but these are definitely variations in how these verbs there are definitely variations in how these verbs are conjugated. Hence, they are irregular. Their conjugations will need to be committed to memory. Now let's take a look at our lesson. Stare, Italian for to stay. Stare, by the way, is also used in some instances where in English we use to be. For instance, a phrase you're probably already familiar with, come stai, or come sta, or sto bene. How are you? I am well. These are all from stare, as you're going to see in a second here. So while technically it is Italian for to stay, it also translated into English as to be in some instances, or where we would use to be. Here we go. Okay, we'll look at first person singular. First, as always, io sto, I stay. Tu stai, you stay. Lui, lei, sta, he or she stays. Noi stiamo, we stay. Voi state, you stay. Loro stanno, they stay. So we have io sto, tu stai, lui lei sta, noi stiamo, voi state, and loro stanno. Fare, which is Italian for to do or to make. Io faccio, I do. Tu fai, you do or make. Lui lei fa, he or she does or makes. Noi facciamo, we do or make. Voi fate, you do or make. And loro fanno, they do or make. Third, we have dare, which is Italian for to give. Io do, I give. Tu dai, you give. Lui le dà, he or she gives. Noi diamo, we give. Voi date, you give, plural, or y'all give. Loro danno, they give. And finally we have andare, which is Italian for to go. We have io vado, I go. Tu vai, you go. Lui le va, he or she goes. Noi andiamo, we go. Voi andate, you go. And loro vanno, they go. There you have it. There are the four verbs conjugated in the present tense, all irregular. Unfortunately, in Italian, like a lot of other languages, it seems like the most important verbs, or the most used verbs, are irregular. So it's going to be important you commit these to memory. Assuming that you've already studied some of these, or that you are studying these now, let's now see how many of these we could actually do. So from the verbs fare, dare, stare, and andare, let's see which ones of these you know after I read the English. So, I go. vado. I go is vado. Remember, in Italian, you don't need to use the subject pronouns oftentimes because the verb insinuates or infers what the subject is. Vado being the only andare, form of andare for I go. So you don't need to say io vado, but just vado. Next, they give. Danno. They give, danno. We make. Facciamo. Facciamo. You stay. Stai. Stai. Y'all give, or you plural give. Date. Date. We go. Andiamo. Andiamo. He stays. Sta. Sta. You make. Fai. Fai. Remember, that's you do or you make. And I give. Do. Do. So how'd you do on these? Pretty good? Remember, you can watch this video, obviously, as many times as you want to. You might want to try this again after you study some of the written homework and stuff that's included with this lesson until you feel comfortable that you can get these without having to give it a whole lot of thought and get them all correct. And there we have it. Grazie mille. Thank you very much for stopping by tavoloitaliano.com. Remember, you can find more about this topic and all sorts of topics on Italian grammar, Italian culture, etc., all at tavoloitaliano.com, where all the information online on the Italian language is always free. So, having said that, I hope that you continue your studies in Italian. Remember, it takes time, takes a lot of work. Learning a language is not a small feat. So having said all that, grazie mille, ciao e parla italiano.